don't know, do you?
I don't. I feel like I'm trapped. Okay. This is fine.
I feel like I'm trapped.
I think this is fine.
For me. How much are you going to spit?
A lot. Okay, I'm fine. Do you need a pillow by your feet?
Yes, please. I got
Just grab that.
Do you need a pillow?
No, I'm fine.
I'm just short.
Just squish it underneath the bar a little bit.
Eee.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for this long intro of us having...
We're not apologizing. This is our
Okay.
podcast.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for the both of us.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Between Us Only. We're coming out of LA. My name's Andrew, and this is Michelle. And we're married. And we're coming up on 5-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah. March 27th when I asked you out in my kitchen at Sherman Oaks.
Yeah. I looked at that photo, by the way, and I'm just wearing a white t-shirt.
No, I know. I looked at it too.
And you didn't tell me?
But you did. I think you had like a little jacket over it. I'm pretty sure you had like a leather jacket over it. Not in the photo, but when you came over.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you did. Anyways, so we're just going to jump right into it, everybody. Michelle's getting deported, so that's fun.
That's fun. No, that's not fun.
No, I know. No, we received a letter in the mail a couple days ago saying that the form we filled out, the I-90 form, was denied. And
Because it was the wrong form.
because it was the wrong form that she was supposed to fill out.
So I've been waiting 14 months on an answer on a form that was the wrong form. And
Which made her 14 months late
on filing the right form.
on filing the right form. So we figured out what form she had to file.
We
which
filed that the same day.
We filed that the same day we got that letter.
We
There
paid
was like a
fee.
$750 fee for that form, which was a fun little surprise. And then which is also fun is that the I-90 form that you filed 14 months ago was like $600,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So that was just
Well,
a little treat for the immigration offices. Hopefully they bought some nice furniture for their waiting room. So now we're patiently waiting to see if Michelle is going to get deported, which, let me say, if you are deported, I will leave this country with you and I will never pay my taxes ever again. And my family will have to come visit in Sweden if they want to see me. So
it's been stressful, to say the least.
yeah. So yeah.
We right now we're just patiently waiting to hear back if they will still accept the correct form that we sent in. Because we had to, like, the thing is that's kind of stupid. It's like we had to prove our marriage again because technically my green card expired a year ago. I haven't been here illegally because I've had paperwork that that makes my expired green card valid for 24 months. But now we're just like in like a 30-day process of just like patiently waiting for responses, basically.
Yeah.
And we had to like send in all of our documents together, our marriage license, anything that we're together on bills for, like lease.
We file our
car
taxes
insurance,
together.
Taxes. We had to send in photos proving that we're still married.
Yeah. And then you had to write a long letter.
Yeah.
About why
I'm so late,
Yeah.
and that it was an honest mistake,
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. And I'm just hoping that they have some sympathy and just being like, okay, this was an honest mistake, and we're gonna accept this.
Well, the thing that's upsetting for me, which is upsetting, is because we paid a lawyer. We got an immigration lawyer once we were getting married to help us with all the paperwork.
Yeah.
He never told us about this form that we had to sign after we got married.
Yeah.
It was never
they
mentioned.
They just said we have to renew it after 2 years.
Which
that's what the I-90 is.
It's
the I-90 is you renew an expired green card or you renew a lost green card.
Yeah.
But what I needed to do was an I-751, which was to change my permanent resident status and get a different type of green card because we were married. It's a whole process.
And in the letter that we sent to immigration. We didn't. I didn't feel like we should directly blame the lawyer. Like no. I just said it was more of like
it was my mistake, to be honest. Like it was my mistake. Yes, we paid a lawyer.
Hold on a second, Doug. Hold on. I wasn't done. Okay. What I meant was in the letter, we didn't blame the lawyer. Like we said, it was like an honest mistake, and we thought it was the I-90. But to be clear, it is the lawyer's fault. That's what I was trying to say. That's all I'm going to say. It is the lawyer's fault. He should have told us that was the form that we had to fill out. We were paying him for his time. We paid him for months, and he got a lot of money from us. And he should have been like, oh, by the way, guys, I know I'm not going to be working for you at this point, but remember, after you're married and your green card is about to expire, you don't file the I-90. You now file the I-75I, or the I-75-1, or whatever the fuck it's called. He should have said that.
751.
He should have said that.
I think it's just because the lawyers wanted us to rehire them for this process, you know?
Well, I'm going to burn down their office now.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm not. I'm just kidding.
But we're just... I don't know. It was really stressful. I was going through a lot.
You want to know something? We could have hired Alex for this.
I know.
Alex does this type of stuff.
I know. He could have turned into a dragon and just
Alex Cubis, who's playing Rage. This is the type of lawyer shit he does.
But I think he deals more with like people in the entertainment.
Yeah, but he deals with like green cards and visas and work visas and stuff, and like he knows all the ins and outs, and he could have helped you. You know.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, the more I know.
So yeah, guys. So who knows? Maybe in the next month or two, we might be filming this in Sweden.
Yeah.
And I will be. Not an American citizen anymore. Quit reading our notes. We don't need them.
Sorry, I'm just looking at what you wrote down.
Oh yeah, I wanted this. Just one little question. Okay. Where would you be if you hadn't followed your dream?
We just segued into something completely different.
Where would you be, Michelle?
I would probably be in Sweden.
Okay.
If I didn't follow my dream of getting into fashion, I would probably have become a florist.
I love flowers. I don't think that's a good paying job, but
it is not. But it sounded peaceful, and I got to work with my hands.
I hope you.
I also kind of was in the field of going into architecture. But
kind of.
Yeah.
That's kind of
that was like a third choice.
Okay, that's a lot of schooling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Joel's a architect.
he's an architect.
He's a work of art. No, Joel, but yeah, he's an architect in Germany. Or in Sweden. He was in Sweden as well, I think, but
yeah. No, I just knew that no matter what I was doing, I wanted to like be doing something creative with my hands.
So what is that? Floristry? Floristry?
Florist?
Yeah, florist. That's what you would be, but you would be doing
florist.
Would you? I don't know. I don't know.
I would do flower arrangement.
Oh, okay. Well, I like to
floristry.
Floristry is more artistic sounding.
What are you, tapestry?
I like
carpentry.
To do floristry. I'm a florist who does floristry. That's fun.
But that's probably what I would be doing. What about you?
Where
would you be?
Okay, if I wasn't, so this is a very intricate. This is a very intricate question because my first original dream was skateboarding. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you ask me this question, does that
means
I never blew my knee out?
Yeah.
I still blew my knee out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
because you followed your dream to going into skateboarding, and then that fell apart when you blew your knee out, and then you went to a different dream. So do two. If you didn't go into...
If I didn't go into skateboarding.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then we'll do another one if you did go into skateboarding.
Okay.
And you blew your knee out and you didn't go into acting.
Okay, that's fun. All right, so if I didn't get into skateboarding, which I started skateboarding when I was 9, I probably would have finished high school.
Yeah.
And
do you think so?
Yeah.
Do you think you would be more into school if you didn't do skateboarding?
Yeah, because in 5th and 6th grade, I was actually like, I got held back in 1st grade. I got held back. I had trouble reading, and then like I really started excelling.
You got held back for that?
Yeah, I didn't know how to read at all. Like
I mean, neither did I, but I had to go on extra classes.
I don't know.
Like on the side.
I don't know. I think they just wanted to really torture me.
That's crazy.
You want to know what I remember most too? Because I had a best friend named Steven in first grade. And when you line up outside of this elementary school, it's like first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, whatever.
Like every morning?
Every morning you line up and then you go into your room because their rooms were right there. Like it was these like portable, like outside classrooms of the big classroom.
Like containers?
Not containers. It was like a side of the building, but it was just had the outdoor rooms and you would go line up there every day. And I remember when I found out I got held back and I was just like confused about like what is that going to look like, and oh my god, I'm going to be made fun of and all this stuff. And I remember second day of first grade again. Or no, first day of first grade again, whatever, how you'd say that. I'm standing there, and I remember seeing all my classmates. They're now in second grade, and I remember seeing Steven, and everybody was, like, laughing at me, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like, fuck school. Like, that's all I was thinking. Which is, honestly, like... That's not good for a kid's self-esteem, I think, at all. It just made me hate school. Like, I really hated school. And then it made me do worse.
That's what I feel like. Being held back is not the solution. Like, I feel like put the kid into extra classes.
Yeah, there could have been a million other things that could have
helped. Like, literally, there was other things, like, when we were having some kind of class, and then I had a specific teacher that would come and pull me out of class, and then I would go away for an hour.
It's like a little tutor. It's like a little tutor that just helps kids that need, and schools have that. Like I know schools have that.
And I feel like that never made me like doubt because I was learning like reading the clock.
Yeah.
And I was learning to read. I did that for 3 years. I had to go away like every week.
You know what I heard? I heard that they're taking away analog clocks out of schools because kids don't know how to read them.
That's crazy. That's literally what I went away to do. I could read digital clocks, but I couldn't read analog ones.
Yeah.
So I literally had to go away.
Well, no shit, you could read digital clocks. I hope you can. They're just numbers on it.
Yeah, no, I know, but like I could understand what it meant.
Yeah.
Like because we have the military time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Which I did know that when I was in Milan because I had to but I refuse to not know it now. If I have to think, I can do it, but I don't like to.
What's 15:15?
That is 3 o'clock. 3:15. Yeah. But I don't like doing it because that like the fact that I had to use parts of my brain that I don't use during the day.
What's 2300?
2300 is that's 12 a.m.
No.
Or 1 a.m.
No.
Wait, it's 11 a.m.
Yeah.
No, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
11 p.m. See, I don't like it. And I don't ask me another one. Anyways, okay. But
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that never destroyed my like confidence of like being behind in class. It was just like I was there with other people too in this like tutoring class.
Well, anyways, okay. So, that kind of gave me, I started hating school at that point, you know? So I'm first grade again. Hating school, mad at everybody. My best friend doesn't like me anymore because he's in a different class.
Did you have to retake all your classes?
The whole year in the same classroom with the same teacher.
Because you failed all of the classes?
Well, it's not really fail. They just said they were like, we don't think he is ready for first grade. He doesn't know how to, or second grade. They're like, he doesn't know how to read.
See, that's another thing. And like, that's different from Swedish school to American school is like you guys have one teacher for all of your classes, right?
Well, up until 6th grade. Because from like kindergarten to 6th grade is technically elementary. Yeah. Then 7th to 8th is middle school. That's when you start having periods and they start like implementing high school stuff. So you start getting ready. And then 9th grade to 12th grade is high school. 9, 10, 11, 12.
That's crazy because we have 1st to 3rd. Yeah. That's like preschool, I guess. And then
1st to 3rd would be like 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. Are you
yeah
but
okay, and then 4th to 6th, that's middle school. And then 7 to 9, that's high school. And then you start college.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's
start
just
college
like
you start college when you're 16.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
but what I was gonna say with that is like in Sweden you have one class and you do you go to different rooms with different teachers for each subject.
Even in like first grade?
No, first grade you do first to third.
You have the same teacher.
You have the same teacher, but you have the same class, the same teacher. And in my school there was only one first grade class.
Okay. If I mean maybe in no.
But as soon as you start middle school, like at grade 4,
you would go do you would do PE classes with a PE teacher. You would have sometimes you would do like a music class and you'd have a different teacher for that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like every day you would do music class. It was like maybe like a couple times a week, and then like you would do you would do
like the creative stuff.
Sometimes you would have like an art class, but I remember there was a lot of like, so my 5th and 6th year I had the same teacher for that. Miss Alvarez, I think her name was, but like she did 5th grade, and that was like my buddy Eric Keast. Him and I were in that class together, and then when we were going into 6th grade, she like got moved up to 6th grade, so then we were in her class again. And I remember she brought this, like, we were doing like architecture classes, like learning how to draw like buildings in like that architecture way where it's like scaled and you're like doing measurements. And she brought a real architecture in there, and he came in like a couple times a week, and we would like work with him and sketch buildings and stuff. And so like there's like different things like that, I guess. But
I loved art class.
I did too. Art.
Did you also have wood shop in middle school?
Yeah, we had wood shop in middle school. I liked wood shop as well.
Did you have sewing classes?
Yeah, we had a home ec class where you learned how to like, you did cooking stuff and sewing. I think we had to make a pillow for.
We didn't learn how to cook until high school. That was like when we started having cooking classes. That was just cooking. But then from middle school, we started having sewing classes where you just sew.
Yeah.
So you did like 6 months, you did sewing classes, and then 6 months you did wood shop.
Yeah. Home ec was just like a mixture of stuff that they would kind of teach you, I guess. I don't know. But going back to...
sorry, where you would be.
Yeah. So if I...
You don't think you would have hated school? You think you would have finished high school?
Well, so once I got into 3rd grade, I had a teacher, Miss Dumas, and she was like one of my favorite teachers ever. Like the sweetest lady, and she like really helped me and understood me. So I excelled in her class. I like fucking figured out reading. And then she had like a really good system for like the multiplication and like the multiplication tables and stuff. And she like, her son was like a musician, so he did a bunch of recordings of like the times tables of like the 5s and 6. And I remember like specifically remember 6s because he did it in a country style. He's like 6, 12, 18, and 24, 30, and 36. So I like... it was just like, she was a fun teacher, you know, and she brought in a lot of like activities to make things fun. Eric Keast was also in that class. That's the first class that I met him in.
Yeah.
And around that time, I remember I was like into basketball and soccer. And then I remember I went over to my buddy Nate's house, and then Eric Keast was there, and I was going over there to practice basketball because we were gonna do a team for Hoop Fest in Spokane, which is like, Hoop Fest is a big basketball tournament where like all age brackets start and you do all these tournaments, and it's a lot of fun actually. But our team was going to be called the Elements, and I went over there to practice, and they were on a skateboard and they were trying to do like a kickflip, and I was like, what the fuck, guys? Like, we're supposed to be practicing like basketball. And I remember stepping on the board because they were like, try it. And I stepped on the board and slipped and then like fell, and they were laughing. And I just remember being like, I am going to get good at skateboarding.
You're like, I'm going to be the last one laughing here.
Yeah. And so then after that day, we like played basketball. I went home and I was like, Mom, I want to get a skateboard. And she was just like, why? Like, why are you interested in that? Not like in a bad way. She was just like,
she's like, this came from out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Yeah. All of a sudden, I wanted to get a skateboard, and then I ended up getting my cousin's board. He got me a used board, my cousin Billy, and then that's all I did. Like, that's all I did. So if that day didn't happen where I slipped on the skateboard, I probably still would have been playing basketball. And then I would have because I liked soccer too.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have just been playing sports because I was always like athletic. I was really fast too in like elementary school. Like when we did the mile run in PE, I was always like the first one in there. Like I would try to kill myself running as fast as I can, getting the best time.
Yeah.
So I think what would have happened if I didn't find skateboarding is I would have done more team sports. I would have done better in school. I would have finished high school, and I think I probably would have went to college, and it just would have been very different.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have.
What do you think you would have been doing though, like career wise?
I don't know. I remember having, because I had Gidget and I really loved dogs and stuff, and I mean animals. Like I had a pet frog at one point. I had mice.
Do you think you would have been a veterinarian?
I want, like, if you look at things that I wrote down in like kindergarten and first grade, it said I wanted to be a veterinarian. Like I wrote that down a lot.
Yeah.
But then after I found skateboarding, everything is just said pro skateboarder, pro skateboarder, pro skateboarder. But there was one point where I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I also learned that they just put down a lot of animals. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And I wouldn't. I just feel like they put animals to sleep all the time.
Did you also hear they do that if they're doing rabies testing, they have to kill the animal to do the testing because they're doing like the testing in their brain. And then they can come out negative, and they're just like, "Oh, I just killed this dog for no reason."
I wouldn't do that. I think rabies is a tall tale sign. You can see it. Like I wouldn't. I don't know. I'd probably be the vet that I'd be like, we don't need to put this dog down. I'd have a bunch of animals.
I'll take this
because a
dog.
lot of people would just bring animals and be like, I can't take care of it anymore. Just put it to sleep. People do that.
Yeah,
I would
that's so sad.
if I was a vet, I would uppercut that person in the throat. Like if they came in and their dog was healthy, I would just punch them in the throat and drag their body back out to their car and take the dog.
No, it's crazy. So many people don't realize the responsibility of getting a pet.
Yeah, people are stupid. But so I probably would have went to college.
I'm sorry, look.
I would have been an all-star athlete, and I would have been just like your average jock.
Yeah.
I'd be super good at beer pong. And probably get a couple DUIs.
Andrew the jock.
I'd get a couple DUIs.
Do you think you would have stayed in Spokane?
I probably would have went to like Pullman and went to college in Pullman or something.
Where's that?
It's in Washington still.
Okay.
I think Pullman is Washington State, if I'm not mistaken. Washington State like college or WCU. Sorry guys, don't quote me on this. I didn't finish high school. But if I followed skateboarding, then blew my knee out,
and then wouldn't go into acting,
I 100% would be probably homeless in San Diego, like addicted to like some kind of drug on the street. And I know that's like extreme and people are like, no, but like probably I was on a really weird path before like I started like acting and modeling. It was not good. I was drinking and doing a lot of drugs. And even after I found acting and modeling, I still was doing that stuff, but just not as heavily. And I was still prioritizing the things like I started like loving.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I need to stop doing certain things. But then I would like slip up and hang out with the wrong people and do something bad.
Were you like in a relationship at this point when you blew your knee, or were you single?
I was single. There was like I had a really bad year. Just like doing all sorts of stupid shit. But I would probably.
Well, I'm glad you followed your dream.
Yeah. I've always been like, and I feel like you're similar to this. It's like, or because we're both very like motivated people when we find the things that we like enjoy doing. And I'm happy that for me, it's an addictive personality, like quality. Yeah. Like, it's like I started doing jiu-jitsu and I loved it and I wanted to do it all the time. And then now it's like I'm doing boxing and I love it and I want to do it all the time. But like
that's how I feel with Pilates right now.
Yeah. And it's good. I think it's a good quality. It's not good if you're doing something that's a bad habit. Yeah. But
I did though. This was probably the first day. I'm like the 9th or 10th session in of doing Pilates. I've been doing very consistently like 3 times a week now. Yeah. For the past month. And
proud of you.
Today was the first day. Thank you. Today was the first morning that I was like, I kind of don't feel like doing anything. And I think it's also because of like where I am on my cycle right now, and just being very like exhausted just overall. But I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I think it's such a good motivation, because if I don't cancel it at least 12 hours before, they're gonna fee me. Like I have to pay for missing a class.
Do they have my card?
Yeah, they have your card.
Okay, so they fee me.
Okay, but listen, I don't want them to do that. So, and like when it's 12 hours before the class, I'm like, no, I need to do this. Like I committed to this. I need to do this. And then when it's like the morning of, I'm like, oh, I can't cancel now. It's kind of like, you know, when you set up that you're going to go meet up with a friend to go work out, and you're just like, I can't cancel now. It's too late. They're probably already on their way. Like, I don't want to abandon them. That's the kind of kick I get. But I also feel so good once I'm done with the class.
So let me say one thing.
Like my endorphins are so high.
Let me say one thing. Those are the real moments.
Yeah.
Those are the real moments that that really shape you and like show if this is going to be a long time routine. When you have days like that and you still go. Yeah. Those are the most important days to not back down on. You're always going to have them at some point, but when you just be like, I got to go and do it, it just they become less and more infrequent. I don't know. They just become less. Yeah. And but they're always going to kind of pop up when you least expect it. But like this morning, I didn't want to go boxing. I literally you
slept in a little bit.
Well, the thing that I took that helped with sleep,
it made you pass out.
Well, it was weird. I had really deep sleeps, but then I kept waking up because like I kept thinking about the monologue I wrote and that I posted, and I just kept thinking about it. And it was weird because I would like wake up and I would feel like rested, and I'd be like, it's fucking 3:00, like I should go back to sleep. And then I would go back to sleep and I'd be out and I would sleep really deep, and then I would wake up at like 4:30, and then I'd be like thinking about it. I don't know. I kept thinking about I was having weird dreams too.
It's probably because you were working on it right before bed.
Yeah. But by the way, that thing that I took was fantastic. It like actually really helped. Yeah. Which this is like a little thing that dissolves in your mouth, but it has like cordyceps mushrooms in it. It has what's the thing with the M? Melatonin. And then there was like CBD, not like the CBD that makes you high, but it was like
I'm sorry, but you took it before we took the dogs out, and you're just on your way back up, you're like, wow, these lights are very bright.
They were really bright.
I was like, no. And then we come into the hallway and he's like, whoa.
I started feeling, I felt like I was feeling drowsy. Like I felt like I was getting really wobbly because like it dissolves in your mouth and it's supposed to like hit you quicker. Yeah. But I feel fucking great. Like I feel like
You feel rested?
I feel like I slept 12 hours last night.
That's amazing.
I know, but it's just like the stuff is so expensive, and like I don't know if it's, but I think doing it maybe like once or twice a week and just getting like really good sleep.
I also don't feel like you need a whole cube. I feel like you can do half a cube.
Yeah, probably. But going back to what you were saying, I'm proud of you for doing that, because it's like those you're like, it's when you're building calluses on your hand, those are the days that build those calluses, you know, like when you don't want to go. And I didn't want to go this morning. That's why I woke up late and I started rushing around. I had to get all my shit ready. Yeah. And then that's when I kissed you, and I was like, I didn't do anything to help you with the animals. Like I have to go because I'm going to miss my class. So.
Well, you gave him a second breakfast this morning. Look at Lucy being all...
She's passed out on her back.
She is so happy she got a second breakfast.
Yeah. I came home and I didn't see their bowls dirty in the sink, so I just assumed you didn't feed them because you didn't have time.
No, I fed them. Well, I did all of it.
It's good. They're both happy.
They're both sleeping.
Yeah. But
anything else you wanted to add on the where you would be if you didn't follow your dream?
No, I just be very different, but I'm happy with obviously everything that has happened.
I mean, I obviously wouldn't be here in America.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't have met.
No.
Like our worlds would have never collided.
Do you believe in like
fate?
Yeah, and fate and like destiny, because like what What if, even though if our lives didn't go the way they went, do you think we would still be like magnetically pulled together in this world? And if so, how do you think it would happen?
Ooh, I don't know. Because like I never visited America before I like decided to come and move here.
Yeah, but your family travels a lot.
Yeah, but we never went to America. That's the thing.
Yeah, but your family does travel a lot. You don't think it would have came up once to come here for anything? Because Michael did, like, he proposed here.
Yeah, but that was because I moved here.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, the first time we went to LA, we did go to Florida, but the first time
and you looked at schools in Florida, right?
Yeah. So I went to Florida. That would have been
weird if you went to Florida.
I did not like Florida.
I don't mind Florida.
I did not like Florida. It just felt so big and so like spread out so not like I didn't feel a sense of like I could see a life here kind of way. And then I found the school that I went to through a family friend who played hockey. Their sons played hockey, and they did like an exchange thing with another hockey team in America.
Okay.
So they had a family or like a kid come living with them, and then their son went and lived with their family kind of thing. And this guy's sister went, like, it's so far-fetched. Mm-hmm. She went to the school in downtown. So that's how I found out about the school. And we went here in February 2017, and looked at the school. Because I was kind of, at that point, I was studying my second degree at Beckmans, and I had 6 months left. I had just gone through a really bad breakup, and I was just like so ready to just throw in the towel with everything with fashion and just give up. And my dad was like, I know you were talking about that you want to study abroad. Like, I know you want to do something else. So he surprised me, my mom, and Michael. I mean, mostly me. And bought us tickets to LA to go check out the school. Yeah. And that was such a short trip. I think we were only in America in a total of 4 days. And that's like including like flying travel here and like flying back, kind of.
So like 2 nights here, maybe?
Kind of. I think it was 3 nights. So like maybe 5 days total, but 3 nights here. We were fucked up from that trip because like you had just like flipped the
time zone.
The time zone, and then you like flew back home, and you were just like, shit.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't be gone longer than that because I would miss too much school too.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, okay, yeah, I do really wanna. And it's funny because I think it was like on February 2nd to 2017, I posted a photo of me being in on Santa Monica Pier, and I was like, I'm gonna move here someday. And on February 2nd, 2018, I got my acceptance letter to FITM. To start like in September of 2018. Are you gonna cry
right now?
I'm crying a little bit because I'm getting sensitive talking about this.
Well, I'm happy you did all that.
But that was like, and I don't see how I would have been like coming here if I wasn't going through that hard time and like not liking Florida, because I was so set of that school in Fort Lauderdale.
Can I ask you a question? So you did the trip to Florida?
Yeah.
And then you came to LA? Or you did the trip to Florida, went back home, and then you did a trip to LA?
I did the trip to Florida, I think in 2016 or...
It was a separate trip, though.
It was a separate trip.
Okay, that's crazy.
And we went to... we went, like, we were a lot of people going. I think we were, like, 15, 16 people going. It was, like, 3 families.
Okay.
I had my friend with me.
And you just like when you went there, you were just like, I don't want to go to school here. Okay.
I'm like, the only thing I did like was like me and my friend Matilda. We went in the morning. We rented like a house for all of us, and every morning we lived pretty close to the beach. So every morning we would walk down to the beach and walk down the beach like watching the sunrise. And Kitty Le, who was here the first time you met my parents, he was there too on this trip. And he was like, I'm not gonna let you guys go by yourself. So he like followed us and was like walking behind us, like guarding us.
That's
because he was like, I want to make sure that you guys are safe, basically.
That's cool.
And I was like, that's the only part of Florida I liked. It was like the sunsets and sunrises.
Yeah, so that's like if I had to choose anything about Florida that I enjoy when I'm there is like I don't necessarily love the humidity.
Yeah.
But I do love, because of the humidity and their weather, it's like they have really cool clouds. The clouds are always low and big, and then it could be like raining 1 second.
Yeah.
And then sun comes out and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, so I loved that kind of sporadic weather and like randomness of it. And then their beach and their water is just like their water feels like warm.
It is warmer.
Lukewarm bathtub water.
Yeah. It's nice.
Which is, I mean, it's not so much refreshing, but it is like you can sit and chill in that, you know?
Yeah.
And then the sand seems a little bit nicer.
Yeah. So like that was the only part of Florida I liked, and I was like, this is not a good enough reason for me to move here, because I don't think studying here that I'm gonna be close to the beach to be able to do this.
Getting Michelle to the beach is nearly impossible.
I don't like the beach.
She doesn't like it. Yeah. I used to go to the beach every day in San Diego.
There's just so much sand.
I don't know. I wish we went a little bit more. I feel like it's really good for us to like cleanse ourselves in the ocean, you know, because the salt water
like
and
the beaches here are not that great.
It's not about that. It's just about going in there, jumping in the ocean, getting some sun, and then getting the fuck out of there.
Freezing cold here.
Yeah, it's like a cold plunge. By the way, I'm segueing into the cold plunge.
Okay, I guess we're doing that.
Yeah, is that okay?
All I'm saying is that I don't know if we would have been meeting.
Yeah, we wouldn't. Or maybe. Oh, no, yeah. I asked you the destiny question.
Yeah.
Well.
I feel like there would be a chance if you, maybe if you went back to Italy and, stayed there for another 6 months and I would have met you there.
Wouldn't that been crazy?
Yeah. Because that was the thing, too. I was like,
You become a florist in Italy?
No. The thing is, I was kind of thinking of, because I was looking at other schools around the world.
In Italy, too?
I was looking in Italy because,
Milan?
Yeah, in Milan.
Ooh.
Because that's a huge school there. I was looking at Paris. I was looking at London.
See, but I wouldn't have gone to Milan unless I was modeling.
I know.
So that kind of...
But that was still, during the same time that I was looking at schools, you know? So that was, in the same...
Yeah.
Area. So I was like, maybe we would have met that way.
Did you go to Milan and look at schools?
What if you were modeling? No, I never did that.
Okay.
But what if you were modeling and then I was in Milan studying fashion? I feel like our worlds would have collided.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe. What if you took a trip to San Diego with your family and I was in
laying by the...
I was in PB and I was like, could I get some money? And you guys were just...
You were laying by the seals in that area.
Seal Beach?
Yeah.
Just laying there.
You were just laying there with the seals. I was like, what is that laying down there?
Is that a naked
is that a
guy?
Merman?
Is that a naked man laying with the seals? And I'm just like, oh! I don't know what sound seals make.
No.
That'd be fun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I do 100% believe in fate, and I do believe that things happen for a reason.
We still our paths would have crossed somehow.
Yeah, I feel like they would.
I think they would have.
I feel like they would.
It was just because when we first met, we didn't. Again, I've told this to you before, but I don't think we've said this really to people. But when we first met, we were both on our way out of a relationship.
Yeah.
Well,
I was kind of going into a relationship. I was in a very early stage of a relationship.
Okay.
But I wasn't it wasn't anything that was serious yet. But I was kind of talking to a person.
Yeah.
That I then 2 months later I started dating.
Yeah.
And you were kind of getting out of a relationship. So we never.
It was a long.
Yeah.
Ended it was. It was more so I could tell that the other person was they were kind of
getting out of it.
They were over it.
Yeah.
You know? I was seeing signs.
Yeah.
You know. But I remember when I met you, because when I'm in a relationship, I worked with girls and I'm doing especially the modeling stuff, and I never would think I would
twice about a person.
I just wouldn't think inappropriately about somebody. I wouldn't be like envisioning myself like being with that person. I really wouldn't. And I know that sounds like all high and mighty and stuff, but like I took pride in that about myself.
I believe you.
And when I met you, and like I just remember you were like looking up at me, staring at me, and like not saying much. And I remember talking to your friend. I was a silent type. I was talking to your friend, and I was like, does she not speak English? She's like, oh, she's from Sweden. And I was just like, hi, and like you're just not really saying anything. But
I was so shy still.
But you remember when you have a video of me standing wearing like the Dexter stuff in that crowd.
You were wearing like the crocodile.
Yeah. And
jacket.
I remember you like I'm standing here, you're there, and you're filming everybody.
I have a video of him.
I remember you walked this way. And I remember like looking at you walking, and I was
wiggling my booty.
You were wearing these really black tight jeans that showed off your booty. Expression. But I remember like looking at you. And just watching you and I literally was thinking about what it would be like to be like in a like not be with you physically, but I was like thinking about like what it would be like if you were my girlfriend. And I never did that before. And even thinking that, I felt like I was like, why the fuck are you thinking that? I was like, also because like I wasn't 100% sure how old you were. I was thinking like I was like, she has to be at least 18 because there's people like getting naked back here. So I was like, so she has to at least be 18. And, but then I was like, but that still was too young for me. Like I didn't date girls that were that much younger than me. Like,
because you were 27.
Was I 27?
Yeah, you were 27.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you were 27, turning 28 that year.
Okay, yeah. So the youngest for me that I would go for was like 23, 24, maybe. Maybe.
I was not that age.
Yeah, I know.
I was 20, I think.
Okay, so
I was 21.
But even in my mind, like that's a little bit too young because the amount of stuff I didn't want. Like I don't know. But I would never go for that age bracket ever. So I'm just saying though, like that moment that I had, I was just like I didn't ever do that before. So that was weird. And then like a year later, we come back together, and then it's like. And then we started talking, and then
which is crazy how it collided, honestly.
Yeah. And just to say, like, I still remember saying, I was like to my friends or my roommates, I was like, God, she's like really young though. And then when we went on that hike, I was like, oh, she's like more mature than I am. I was like, so this is good.
Oh, I'm so happy you thought I was mature.
Well, I thought you were. I mean, I'm really immature, so it's not that hard to do. But no, you had. I loved your drive and your passion for like what you were doing.
Yeah. And
just like how committed you were to it. So it's like that was very attractive to see as well. And then also just like, I remember the moment that I like when you sang for me in your old apartment, and you were singing in Swedish. I was
singing Veronica Maggio.
I fell madly in love with you because I was laying on your couch and you were like sitting on top of me and you were singing that song, and I just remember being like I was transfixed by you. I was like, I love this girl so much.
I love you.
I love you, baby. I wish you sang more to me.
I'll sing.
She has a beautiful voice.
I was singing, like there was one time I was sitting here sewing. My sewing machine is behind this drape. Yeah. We're just hiding it for everybody.
She hides it.
But this is my sewing corner behind here. I'm not going to show you. It's a mess.
Did you open it, though?
No, it's a mess. It's a mess.
No, I know, but you made a split in it.
It's a mess.
Never mind.
Look at that.
Never mind.
It's just a big... It's just a booty. No, but this is my sewing corner. And I was one woman. This was like more than a year ago. I was sitting and I was singing. I had my headphones on. I was singing out loud because I like singing when I'm sewing.
You don't do it enough.
No. And he went, can you shut up?
What?
And I just was like, and then I haven't sang out loud since.
That is...
I don't know what you were doing, if you were watching a show or you were being on your phone doing something, but you told me to stop singing and I stopped and I haven't sung since.
That is bullshit. Did I really?
Yeah, you did.
Well,
maybe you were just having a bad day, but that affected me.
But that's bullshit. Is because why don't you tell all the moments that I've tried to get you to sing and feel comfortable with singing?
Yeah, that
that
moment was a setback.
What about the last moment we had? That was a while ago, by the way. That was at least 2 or 3 years ago.
When?
When I was like, "Can you shut up, please?"
That was like 2 years ago.
I think I was on the phone and you were like being really loud, and also
I was
you're a good singer, but you couldn't hear your own voice. You were out of tune.
I do not believe that.
I'm pretty sure. Something must have been happening. I was either talking to my dad
Well,
but whenever you're talking to your parents and I'm doing anything, you tell me to shut up all the time.
No, I walk into the other room.
No.
And then you like follow me. You keep doing that loud stuff, and I'm just like, "Can you please not?"
You opened the door one time and you were like, "Can you shut up and stop yelling?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm talking to my dad right now."
Yeah. You guys always yell on the phone.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I think you have a beautiful singing voice,
okay.
and I wish you sang more to me.
Okay. I love you.
Okay, to me, not by yourself.
Sure. I'll sing in the car. What were you asking though?
We were gonna segue. What?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna segue into. So we went down to Carlsbad to visit our friend Justin.
Yeah. My
best friend Justin. And he took us to. Is it called Breathe?
It was called Breathe Degree.
Breathe Degree. And they have like cold plunge, they have like breathing classes, they have like infrared sauna, they have all this really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But we did the cold plunge. Yeah. Which I haven't really done. I mean, other than like when we're in Sweden and we like jumped in the water when it's cold, and then like
that's not cold plunge.
And then I mean,
I feel like that water is at least like 50 degrees at least.
So the water,
like 55.
The water that we did
was 39.9.
Okay, so the pool that I did for American Boogie Woman was 37 degrees.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But no. But like I dive in and then I swam to the end, and then they had me do that like 9 times. But
that's crazy.
The pool wasn't. I was maybe in the water for like 13, maybe 17 seconds at a time. Yeah. Because I was swimming and I was trying.
But how was your head feeling though?
It was awful. I felt like shit the whole time. But so we did the cold plunge with Justin. Michelle's a fucking beast. Her fucking Norwegian Viking blood in her kept her warm. I couldn't fucking do it.
You jumped in like before all of us?
Yeah.
And then
I got out maybe in like 25, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I just I couldn't do it. My knee started hurting. Yeah. And then you go in with Justin, and then that breathing coach
I had an instructor with me, like standing out, guiding me to.
And then you guys go in, and then I waited maybe like 10, 15 seconds, and then I got in again. Mm-hmm. And she's like, right now that feeling you're getting is, she's like, that's all the inflammation and all this stuff. And she's like, don't worry, the pain will go away. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, my fucking knee hurts so bad right now. I was like, it's not going away. My knee still hurts. Yeah. And then you guys sat in there for what? Like,
I think the first time I sat in there for like,
it was over a minute, like a minute and 30.
Yeah, probably a minute and a half.
Yeah. And then I was like probably like 15 or 20 seconds behind you guys on that. So, but I got out with you guys. Like, yeah, it was brutal. But yeah, Michelle's a fucking beast.
But then we got in again, and I was in for 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got out again after that. Like, I don't think I did more than like a minute and something, like.
But I did the first time we got in. And they were like, you need to breathe through your nose. You need to still your breathing and breathe like slowly, slowly, slowly. And there was one moment, like 5 seconds after I got in and sat down, that I felt that I started breathing through my mouth. And I felt how I was like, and I was like, okay, I'm having like a minor panic attack. And I was like, okay, breathe through my nose. And I'm very good at like slowing my breathing down. And I felt like I got pretty good like control over it pretty quickly. And but I think it's also because like I used to do a lot of yoga. I'm doing Pilates now. Like that has a lot with breathing to do. Like even when I'm in class at Pilates, it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, this is so hard. And then they're like, don't forget to breathe. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually not breathing right now. And then I started breathing. I was like, okay, this makes it a little bit easier, you know? Yeah. But
I also like it. the pain I felt in my knee, because the rest of my body start like after like the minute, even after like 30 seconds, the rest of my body, you know how it's like the tingly and it feels like you're getting poked everywhere.
Yeah.
That went away. But my knee wasn't. Like my knee, it was like, you know, when you have like really bad growing pains when you're younger, it felt like that, but by like 10.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and like the whole key, the whole key to being in those cold plunges is like you're breathing through your nose and you're not moving your body, because every time you move it feels colder.
Yeah.
Like the water that's...
And there was a guy that jumped in that was just like walking really quickly and giving like waves, and I was like sitting there, I was like, I hate you, I hate you.
Yeah, but for me, my knee was just like I couldn't. It was just, it hurt so bad, and I think it's because there's probably so much inflammation in my knee because it's injured.
I could feel it in my hips, because I'm feeling that every time that I'm I should have asked the instructor about that this morning when I went to Pilates. When I'm doing like the tabletop position, when you're laying on your back and you have your legs on a tabletop, it really hurts my hip on the side. And I feel like it shouldn't be hurting my hip, because it's not the kind of like muscle that we're working out. But I feel like there's something...
I think something good for that is like I showed you, when you sit on your butt with your legs out in front of you and you put a weight in front of you and you just like you're completely flat on your butt with your legs extended and you do this over the weight, and that's supposed to work out all these muscles and strengthen them to make your hip flexors stronger.
It's just this side.
Yeah, I would just do
my
that.
left side.
You can literally put the cup on the ground and just put your foot over back and forth, you know, and then...
Well, we do that exercise in class.
Well, but it's... Yeah, I don't know.
I'm wondering if there's like a way I can stretch it.
I definitely ask her. You're paying her. Yeah. Ask her if she has anything.
I'm gonna ask on Thursday.
Okay.
For my class. Do you want to take a little break?
Yeah, I need to pee.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're back from outer space. Okay, so...
What's next on the agenda? We actually wrote an agenda today.
Yeah. So yeah, my sister Leah's gonna be coming here on Thursday.
So tomorrow, when this episode drops.
No. She's coming this weekend.
Yes. Sorry. So she has just been here.
But this episode's not releasing till next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Oh yeah.
So she has been here when this episode drops.
Yeah, but she isn't here also. So, but no, I'm excited.
Confusing.
I'm excited for her to come, because she's never been to our apartment before here.
She hasn't really been to LA, has she?
Well, no, I took her and Janie up here, but it was like a weird little quick visit.
Yeah.
But Jesus, I just like inhaled like a hair or something. But yeah, I'm fucking so stoked for Disneyland. Doesn't matter how many times I've been there. Doesn't matter how many birthdays I've spent there. I am a Disney boy.
He's a Disney boy.
I fucking love Disneyland. I honestly...
You are Peter Pan.
I mean, I loved Peter Pan when I was younger.
I know.
I loved him.
You should dress up as Peter Pan.
I wore my Peter Pan costume for a year of my life.
And I'll be Tinkerbell. Should I be our Halloween costume next year?
I'll do that.
You'll be Peter Pan, I'll be Tinky?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I'll be Tinky. Tinky Bell.
But yeah, so she's coming.
You know what her name is in Swedish?
Inkepel.
Tingeling.
Tingeling?
Tingeling.
That's pretty funny. Sounds like dingling.
But yeah, so Leah is coming here. I'm super excited.
Yeah, Leah's coming here. Also, a couple days ago, we went to Grand Central Market.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we went to Grand Central Market.
Oh, hello. Hi, my love.
We walked around there. We did the old trolley train that goes from Grand Central Market up the side of the hill, which we've never done. I thought that was broken. Every time I've driven past that, I was like, why don't they get rid of that? Or is it like a landmark or something?
Okay.
Oh, babe. Lucy, you ate and I took you out.
You had 2 breakfasts,
yeah,
Nana.
You're fine. You lay down.
You didn't tell Papa that you already had 1 breakfast. You got 2.
She looked at me like she wasn't fed. I was like, did you guys eat already? And they're like,
no.
I swear to God, she shook her head at me. She's like, no.
What do you have to say to your defense? Yeah?
Is that it?
I love you too, Baba. Come on.
Good girl.
Come on.
Good girl. Yes, you're a good girl.
Oh, hey, come, lay down.
So we did the trolley train.
Lay down, come.
We walked around Grand Central Market. We got coffee, and then we saw donuts, and the place was called Donut King.
Yeah.
Which
no,
is
Donut Man.
Donut Man, which is false because my grandfather is the only Donut Man.
No, he was the Donut King.
Well, the kids would call him the Donut Man.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was the Donut King. But I remember why I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Well, first of all, I think in the video I posted where I said the donuts weren't good, they weren't bad.
They weren't bad.
The maple bar wasn't bad, but my grandpa, he made every donut. He did devil's food. He did old fashions. He did like blueberry donuts that were actually really good. But his most famous donut was the maple bar. And his donut shop was called the Donut Parade. It was a landmark in Spokane. They have new owners now.
Do they still have the shop up? And it's still called the Donut Parade?
I think it's
they bought. Go there.
They sold, my grandpa and grandma sold like the whole business and name.
Yeah.
So but it's just, I heard it's just not the same, you know? And also they renovated the inside, and like my grandpa, like that whole place was like super vintage. Like the fridges that they had were like originally from like the 50s. And
that would have been so
they
cool
had
if
like they had like a
it.
bar top with booths and stuff. Like it looked like an old cafe diner from
so cool.
like the
50s.
like the 50s.
That's cool.
But it was like legit from the 50s, and my grandpa just never renovated it, you know. So like some things were kind of wear and tear. I feel
like today that would have been like
cool, you know. But they like
you renovate it to like you fix up the place, but it still looks the same.
Yeah. So the people that got it now, like they renovated it, but it's like fluorescent lighting and like all white. Like it looks like a DMV. I was like very confused, and maybe I'm being a little bit harsh because I haven't actually been in there since then. But
we should go there.
I saw some photos. I don't know. It's gonna make me feel sad.
You go in there and you're just like, these donuts.
Well,
suck.
it's just they're not gonna be. My grandfather was like, he was an artist with it. Like this is something that he loved. He didn't only love making donuts. He loved his customers and the people that would come in every day, and like he loved people.
It was a community.
Yeah, and but he had it down to the exact whatever. Like he knew how to make a really good donut. But he was most famous for maple bars. Like people traveled all over to come eat those maple bars.
Yeah.
But something that I've been like,
he even had a news crew come and do an interview with him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did a whole segment on him on South by Southwest.
Yeah.
And which is really good. It's on YouTube if you type in
Donut
Parade, Daryl Jones, South by Southwest, it will come up, and it's a really good little segment on him and my grandma. But he like, I want to, the reason why I'm bringing this up and going to this route is because like I want to ask you this question too, like if you had a passion project. I know I asked you this a couple days ago and you didn't have an answer for me, but you can think about it right now. But my like something that is a real passion project for me that is in like I'm still kind of working out the things in my head, and I want to interview my mom and some of my aunts and uncles and get more information on like my grandpa's earlier life. Like so when they traveled from what's the part of California like it's up. It's like starts with an S. Sacramento. So that's where they all were.
Yeah.
When my mom, Lucy, I love you. I'll play with you after. Lay down. Lay down. I'll play with you after. Lay down. Come on. Lay down. Good girl. Lay down. She's not listening. So they came up from Sacramento when my mom was about 1. They moved from Sacramento to Spokane. And they had a little donut shop in Sacramento, and I think it was, I want to say it was called the Donut Parade, I don't know, but then they came up here and they opened up the donut shop that everyone knows and loves in Spokane. But like everybody worked there. Everybody had their birthdays. My mom got married across the street at the church with my dad, and then they had their like reception at the donut shop. Like I had all my birthday parties at the donut shop.
Yeah.
And I want to write and I want to play my grandpa when he's in his like mid to late 30s. So I have some photos of him when he's like in at that age, and he's a little bit skinnier than me, but I think like if I slimmed down and got to that weight, like I think I could be a good match for playing my grandpa. But I want to tell that story when all the kids are young and like the donut shop is coming up, and like I just think that would be a really, really amazing story to tell.
Yeah.
And I think if I probably need I talked to Marciano a little bit about this. Like I would think I would want his help because he's a really good writer.
Yeah, to write the story together.
Yeah, but I think I could I think I could do it. Like the past two little monologues, like I wrote those, and I think I could do it. I just really need to like sit down and like make myself do it. But it's like but I want Marciano to help me with this because I think it could be something really cool. But that's like a passion project I have. I want to play my grandpa. I want to tell this story because he was just such
about
a like
the Donut King. Would you name the movie The Donut King?
I don't know. I honestly,
I feel like you should,
because I wrote a little short film.
Yeah.
Like that I sent to Marciano, and it was it's not true. It was like kind of made up. But my grandpa, if I'm not mistaken, he was like robbed one time at the donut shop. And then like I wrote a short film about
the robbers.
These three guys came into the donut shop when they were closing, and the movie was called The Donut Man. And I wrote this a while ago, so I have to like kind of remember.
Yeah.
Three guys, or no, it was two guys, and it was a younger guy and an older guy. And the younger guy isn't really like as bad as like the older guy. The two guys that are robbing my grandpa. And pretty much what happens is like my grandpa ends up like kind of like befriending the younger one when they're doing the robbery, because they end up getting surrounded by cops. And then like there's a lot to it, but that was more of like fiction, like because that he was robbed, but it wasn't to that extent, you know. But I want to write something that's more not like an action necessarily, just like it's kind of like to honor my grandfather and my grandmother as well.
Yeah.
But just 'cause
would you do like their whole,
I don't think their whole life, but just a segment of like I want all my aunts and uncles when they're kids, and like that feel of like they were always like But
wouldn't it be cool to do like basically your like kind of like your whole life of like it starts with them moving from California, going to Spokane, Washington, opening up the shop, like them building the store, you know, them having the kids celebrating their birthdays, your mom having her wedding, like his daughter getting married, and then having her reception at the donut shop, and then their kids having birthdays there, and then like
I would love to do that, but I'm also like, then there's like the like producer mindset where I'm like the budget.
Yeah.
And then like if I want to play my grandpa, then so do I cast an older actor to play him?
No, or you just make yourself.
Yeah, but that's like then we need a good budget. Then we need a really good makeup artist.
Look at that.
Well, that's not a bad idea, and hopefully when this happens.
What do you think the budget has to be for that?
To be really good.
10 mil? 5 mil?
I mean, 10 mil is still technically pretty low budget for like big movies now. But I mean, I think I could do it for 10 million.
Yeah.
I think I could. Realistically,
would we have to build like the whole store?
If I do it, I would actually want to shoot it in Spokane.
Yeah.
I would want to. I would want to go shoot it in Spokane. I would want to.
But you can't shoot it in the same shop because they.
No. I couldn't do it in the same shop, but there's a lot of like old school diners in Spokane. Like it would not be hard to find something. And if we had to build it, I would love that, because then we could literally make it identical, you know? And then if you build it, maybe keep it as an actual.
Do you know if they have any like if you have any like home movies or something from that time? Because that would also be cool to put like in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think there would be something, but I mean, like, Probably we could find. I mean, just that South by Southwest thing. There's so much good footage in there.
I know, but still, like, it would be so cool if they actually had like some.
I would also like
maybe a video from your mom's wedding. You know, maybe.
I don't think that. I don't think there's what. No, there's just photos and stuff. But what would be cool? Like, say that we had a budget to shoot from coming from Sacramento up to Spokane and then opening up the donut shop.
Mm-hmm.
If we had that budget, it would be so cool to show a bunch of photos at the end with the credits of like everybody starting from that Sacramento, because there's a photo of them leaving Sacramento and it's like my grandpa wearing his all white bakery, like he had his like little white cap thing, like it's like it looks like the Navy cap, but it's white, and it's like, I don't know, like bakers would wear it.
Yeah. And
then he would be white t-shirt, white pants, and like an apron, and then all the kids were with him. And I think that was when they were leaving Sacramento coming up. And I think, like, I'm sorry, Mom, if I'm mistaken, but it was like they were all kids.
Is your mom the youngest kid?
Yeah, she's the youngest. And but it would just be, I just really, really want to play him because like he was such an important figure in my life, and like it would be so cool to play him.
No, that would be so cool to do.
And it would just to like to deep dive into his life, and then
you can probably find like some old, like, I feel like there should be some old archives in Spokane about him.
Oh, I'm sure they did. So there were so many news articles that they did. But like, I want to interview like my Aunt Sue, my Aunt Katie, my mom, like really sit down and like interview them, because I've asked my mom questions and she'll like try to remember from the top of her head certain like scenarios. But I think if I like,
she was also very young when all of this was happening.
Yeah, but like to go there and to like, even if there's anybody that is still alive that were like regulars, a lot of the crowd were older, and I know a lot of people passed away, but if there was anybody that was like in their 30s as a regular, because we had from all ages, to maybe go interview them and be like, what did you think about my grandfather, and like and then just like record those, get recordings of everyone's interview, and then accumulate that and then write this script, you know. But like everybody loved my grandpa. He was like a.
Would you include those interviews in the movie as well?
Maybe, or maybe that could be a whole side thing, like too, as well. Like it might be interesting for people to see.
Yeah.
But he was just I know, like we talk about your grandfather as well, like just a solid human being, and that was like my grandpa and grandma. They were just like, they were good people, good hardworking people.
Yeah.
And they took care of so many people, not only our family. They were just very generous, like human beings. And like, they didn't have everything. Like that donut shop literally supported multiple families in our family. Yeah. And if I would be surprised looking at like actually how much money how much the donut shop brought in, because my grandpa was selling donuts for like 10 cents, like, and even by the end of it, like when they were like when he was selling the shop, like it was still like, it was like 25 cents for a coffee refill, and then like it was cheap as fuck still. Like they obviously raised their prices, but not by a lot. Like people love that you can go in there with a handful of quarters and you can get a coffee and like multiple donuts and like it was crazy. But I just that's like a passion project for me that I will do at some point, even if I can't play my grandpa. Like that story needs to be told. But it would be awesome to play him, because I think it would be so fulfilling for myself, you know. But okay, what if I know now I'm throwing you on the spot, but if there was anything,
just you talking about your grandparents, it just makes me think of my grandparents. Like I feel like, you know, we talked to that summer we were in Sweden when we got married. We had like a whole day with my grandparents. My mom's parents, and they told us about like how they met the first time, and like how they like built their house from the ground up, and how they in their times when they bought the land, got the worst piece of land on the street, but now it's like the best piece of land because it's on the hill, and they have like
Well, didn't they say it was the worst because it was on a rock?
Yeah.
And it was like hard to do the foundation on that?
I think it was just like, it was considered hard because it was like up top of a hill. Like they was the only house on top of the hill. Now there's more houses around it.
Yeah.
But they were like on top of the hill. They were like, oh, who wants to live there? But like they have the best location of everybody.
They have sun all day round.
And like I feel like it would be so, like I kind of want to deep dive more into their story, but then I also started thinking about my dad's parents. And like both my grandma and my grandpa were teachers. I think my grandpa was a math and English teacher and Swedish and maybe even history, I don't know.
Wow.
And
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, and then my grandma, I think he was mostly math. And then my grandma, she was a teacher for kids with special needs. But every summer, they had a summer camp for all the kids who didn't have anywhere to go. So, like, they went out to the countryside. I've been there once. Like, I never, like, went there to the summer camp. But, like, we took our boat out one time. I think you were with us. We drove out with the boat one day. And we drove around in this little, like, we were at the Swedish archipelago, or whatever it's called, like countryside. And we drove by this, like, little, like, very worn down house. And that was, like, their summer camp house that they rented for the summer. And my dad always used to tell me about, like, how they would go out, like, him and his sister, they would go out there and there would be a bunch of other kids there and they would take care of them. And, like, a lot of these kids that came from, like, the city, they didn't have anything with them because they couldn't afford to have anything. So, like, my grandma and grandpa, they would, like, go and collect, like, clothes and, like, toys and, like, pens and papers and snacks and everything for these kids. So when they came to their summer camp, they got, like, a
little gift of stuff.
Like a little gift of stuff for summer. And they did this for, like, multiple years. And I feel like I haven't really, like, I want to sit down with my dad and just ask him, because I know he remembers so much because he was part of it too, even though he was young. And just, like, find out more about that, because, like, my grandpa died when I was 3 years old, so I don't really know that much about him. Like, I do know stuff about him, but not as much. Like, I don't feel like I got to know him.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, you're 3 is like...
Yeah, I'm young.
Well, it's like you don't really... You might have little fragments of memories, but it's not like...
I think my first memory is from when I was 4. But, no, but I feel like if I would do a passion project, it kind of would be to open up this is a big project. I mean, just as yours, it's a lot of money, but I would love to do like open up a shelter,
like a dog shelter.
Like a dog shelter for dogs that are on a list for being euthanized, basically.
What I think would be cool for that is if we owned a farm. And we have like a really big open area, and then, like, kind of like a kennel system that is, like, sheltered to where it's warm for them, and they would stay in that during the night. But we would open the cages and they would pretty much just roam freely and get to play. They would have to be probably supervised, maybe.
Well, you could also just, like, have the whole area fenced in with, like, cement down in the ground so they can't dig out.
But if we had, like, a really big farm, and then while they're playing, people can come and, like, look at the dogs, and we would have to just really socialize these dogs. Like, obviously, if there's any that are, like, super aggressive, we'd have to, like, work one-on-one, but this would be, again, a lot of time. And I think if we did a lot of
time, a lot of money.
But again, with how much, like, in between doing movies and stuff and shows, like, I have a lot of time, and that's what I keep saying to you, like, I want a farm. I want a farm so bad. I want fucking chickens so we don't have to buy eggs and go to different stores. You want
a horsey.
I want a horse, and I want a goat. And
imagine just riding and you bring all the dogs with you and they're all just running together.
Just a pack of dogs behind me. It would be so awesome. But this is like down the line, I think. Like,
yeah.
but
no,
I would love this.
That would be a passion project for me. Like
that would be amazing. I would love to fucking do that.
And just like
I'll quit everything right now. Let's do it now. We could buy a house in Montana. We could.
But yeah, that's probably I feel like it's something I was coming back to.
Or Texas. We can buy a house in Texas.
Passion. But it gets so hot in Texas in the summer.
I know the dogs would be not
they
good.
Would be, yeah, they would not.
Montana gets fucking cold,
Lucy would hate the summers there.
Yeah.
She's not a.
I think we should do Montana.
Lucy's barely an LA dog.
We should do Montana.
Yeah.
Or Idaho.
But
I don't really want to live in Spokane, but we could do maybe somewhere in Washington too. Let's do it. Let's quit. And become farmers.
But I feel like that's a passion project of mine.
Well, I love it. That's my passion project too now. That'd be cool.
But that would be so nice to just, because I always, one of my algorithm on Instagram just throws me into these like videos of just like, these dogs are on the euthanasia or are on the list to be euthanized this week, and I'm just sitting there sobbing, and I'm just like, oh, it's been 5 days, like, did any of them survive, you know?
Yeah. It's just unfortunate.
And it's like the dogs have like, oh,
she's like trying to figure out a comfy
good girl
back position.
You know, that's a sign that they're feeling very secure and safe.
Yeah, when they expose their belly.
Yeah. But like most of these dogs that I'm seeing, like, there's no issues with them. Like, they're healthy. Like, a lot of them are puppies even.
Yeah.
And it's just because they don't have any space for them, and I'm just like,
well, this is the issue I have with breeding.
Yeah.
Is because like people will be breeding dogs to sell when there's so many dogs that are in need of homes already.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that's the issue.
Especially in LA.
And yeah, it's like when you see somebody that has a new puppy, you're just like, you could have found a puppy. I mean, who knows? They could have found that puppy at a shelter. You know, that's the other thing.
We found our puppy at a construction site.
Yeah, but that's because everyone thought she was a baby coyote.
That is true. Hi, Nana.
But yeah, I mean, for as long as I have been an adult,
yeah,
I've always I've never thought about buying a dog new, like from a pet store. I've just always been like a shelter, you know. And I feel like that's pretty common sense. So.
I feel like if we went to a shelter today, we would come home with all of the dogs.
That's why we can't do that.
He doesn't allow me to go to shelters.
No, she's like, do you want to go to a shelter? I'm like, no. Remember the other day when I came down to meet you and you were just like, I have a surprise, and I'm like, and I stopped.
Well, I told him, I was like, hey babe, I need your opinion about something in the car. And he was like, okay. I was like, can you just get down here? Because I found like a table for like our record player, and I wanted.
Well, don't ruin the story.
Well, no. I'm not ruining the story.
Yeah, but I was trying to build it up.
He comes down there, and I'm standing outside the car, and I look at him, and I was like, I have a dog in the car, and he just stops, and he's like, no. And I was like, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna tell the story better. I came down, and she's standing there next to the car door, and she's looking at me, and I'm like, why is she looking at me like that? And she's like, hey babe. And I literally, before she said dog, I stopped, and I'm like, what? And she's like, I found a dog. And I'm like, no. I was like, no, we can't do this. But then I started walking over there like excited that you have a dog in your car. And then you were just like, I'm just kidding. It's a table. Yeah, it's a table. And then I said, no, we don't need that.
No.
Well, there's like a little part of me. It was like, is the dog cute?
It's funny because like we both know that if we find a dog out in LA who is like,
we're fucked.
We're like, I guess we can have 3 dogs now. Like,
I mean, if you see an animal that needs help, it's like there's a part of me that
like
I can't just walk
as soon as we
from
know that dog doesn't have an owner, it's not chipped, it doesn't have like anything, we're just like, okay, I guess we have another dog now. We found a cat outside of a building, and the dogs like love it. They just want to run to it.
I know it follows
and
us.
follow us when we go out for like walks. It like follows us out of the garage, and then follows us to when we take the dogs on a walk, and then it follows us back in again.
Yeah, it's sad.
And it's like an all black little kitty, and we were like, do we want another cat?
We can't do it.
We can't do it.
Already with traveling, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And also, we don't know how that cat is gonna be reacting with Oliver or reacting with the dogs.
It's just the whole thing. If it has fleas, and then we have to take it to the vet and get it checked out and get its shots, and it's like, we can't. We've done enough. We've rescued our 3 animals.
Yeah.
Okay, and we just need to focus on them because they need so much attention.
I also feel like it's gonna be so hard to find out a cat that's like Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver's the best cat. I honestly think he will be the last cat we probably have for. Hi.
Oh, you smelling Papa's balls?
Hi. I took a shower. I smell good.
Did they smell? Did they smell yummy?
Yes, I love you.
Oh, kisses.
I know. I love you.
Oh, you just want some attention.
She's like, you haven't looked at me this whole time.
She's like, it's time for our snuggies.
What did you think of the BDB trailer teaser?
Oh, I loved it.
I thought it was good.
I was like, woo! I got the tingle in my stomach.
You have to watch it though in like widescreen on YouTube because I think the reels, like when it's zoomed in, it takes away from the cinematic aspect of it. Like because I watched it on the reels, and I was like I liked it still, but I was like, I don't know, it didn't feel cinematic. But then as soon as I watched it on the widescreen on YouTube, I was like, okay, I was like, that's fucking dope. But I loved that they had so much action in it. I
love how they actually made it look like I like how they did the coloring.
Yeah.
Like it looks very like how I imagined it.
Yeah.
And no, I'm so excited. It looks so good.
Yeah.
It sounds so good.
I wish I could have been there the night that they blew that car up.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Darius gets blown up, but
I'm so excited to see Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so excited. And now we can finally mention that the premiere is in New York.
Yeah.
I'm going to New York.
Yeah. This is Michelle's first time to New York.
I'm so excited.
So we're actually going to make a thing of it because also it's my birthday.
It's Andrew's birthday.
I'm turning 34. I'm turning 34. You fucked with me the other day. Cause
every time we fight, I just fuck with when his birthday is, cause he doesn't know.
She was like, "No, you're turning 35." I was like, "No." I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not turning 35. I'm turning 34." But I was like sitting there trying to think. I Googled it.
You Googled when your birthday?
Yeah, because remember you said you were like, "Are you looking it up right now?"
You're like, "No."
Yeah, I Googled it. I said, "If you were born May 31st, 1991, how old are you?"
It's so funny. We've had this discussion so many times.
My mind goes. I just think I'm older than I am.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I kind of feel like I'm turning 30.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Don't growl at me. What? What do you want?
Lucy loves to get attention. And when she doesn't get it.
Yeah. Lucy.
No.
Come on.
Lucy.
Hey, go.
Don't jump up on the table.
Sit down. Hey, sit.
She's
Stay.
like, I got so much attention by doing that.
Yeah, you almost just knocked everything over. You literally just went outside.
You're fine.
You pooped and you peed. Look at how the eye contact is.
Both of them. Hello.
Stop. You keep pushing me.
Okay. Guys, lay down.
Okay, sit.
Lay down.
Sit.
You'll get attention soon.
Okay, so you...
But no, I'm so excited that the premiere is in New York. The premiere is on the 29th of May, I think.
I don't know. I don't remember.
And I'm so excited that we'll be going there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm super excited.
We need to figure out what to wear. Like, what would Sadist wear? Please comment below.
I'm not gonna wear what Zadist would wear, but I already know what I'm wearing.
I mean, you're not wearing leather, but like...
No, I want to wear all black. I want to wear an all black...
outfit?
Like, I'm gonna get a really nice suit.
Are you wearing like a black shirt underneath?
Yeah, that's all black.
All black, okay.
And I don't know, this is the only thing that I'm on the fence on. Do I wear a black tie with it? So, black suit, black undershirt, black tie.
I feel like you don't need a tie.
No, this is my
Okay.
decision. This
Okay.
isn't our wedding. You don't get to tell me I have to wear a brown suit. Has nothing
You
to do
look
with
so
you.
good in that brown suit, though.
Doesn't matter.
Look
So
good.
where I'm at is I'm for sure wearing a black suit, but I'm either going to do a black tie or no black tie, open shirt. But I also am kind of thinking this.
Shirt.
What do you think on this? You're a designer.
Open shirt.
So
Open shirt.
no, hold on.
Sexy open shirt.
Stop. So have you ever seen a tuxedo with a black shirt under it?
Yeah.
I can't recall when I've seen that, but I'm thinking this though, like, you know how they have the cummerbund that they cover? I want to do all black tuxedo with a black undershirt, cummerbund, but open it. Just have it open. So like real fancy. You know?
Okay.
Because
What am I wearing?
You should wear. I thought you were gonna make an all black dress.
Should I make the black dress though?
Yeah. Make
Okay.
it black. I'm wearing black. I'm like I'm going to. It's called the Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Okay. I'll wear black too then.
Guys, you're jumping on the cord.
I'll wear black too then.
So I'm really excited.
I'll make
for
something
that.
nice.
I want to grow my beard out really long for it.
Really?
I don't know. I just want like
no,
a big.
do like a sexy beard.
I want to look like
No, sexy
a
beard.
mountain man, because literally.
Sexy beard.
Because then, like, pretty soon after that, I don't know when. This is not a spoiler. I honestly don't know when we're shooting season 2, but I'm assuming that sometime this year. Then I have to buzz everything off again and be.
Yeah, but not
bald.
a really long beard.
I don't know. I don't have any.
I like your beard right now.
I don't have any images with me with I don't know. We'll see.
With a big
We'll
beard?
see where I'm at. I might book something before and have to shave. I don't know. So I don't know why I'm making decisions.
We'll
on
see.
facial
But
hair.
okay, so we're both wearing black.
All black.
Got it.
Yeah. And then we'll depending on we're going to fly out early, right? Or are we going to fly out and stay late?
We're gonna fly out and stay later.
Yeah. We should stay at that place that I stayed at.
I think I don't know when we're flying out. But I think we're flying back on the 1st.
Yeah.
And then on the 5th, we're flying to Sweden.
Oh yeah.
Because we have a wedding in Sweden.
Yeah.
My friend is getting married on the 7th. So it's going to be a lot of traveling.
Can I just wear that black suit again?
Yeah. You could.
'Cause if I'm going to spend a bunch of money on a suit, maybe I'll just wear it twice.
I kind of want you to wear blue, like
I
navy blue.
I have that dark blue suit that I.
Yeah, I kind of want you to wear like a navy blue, and I'm going to wear like a light blue dress.
Okay.
Look nice and chic for a Swedish wedding, you know? But she just said a dark suit. That's the dress code for the wedding. Just a dark suit. So you could be black, could be blue.
Maybe I'll just do the blue suit.
Yeah, you looked really good in the blue suit.
I just feel like I wear it all the time. But so yeah. What's else?
Next? What's next?
I
on
think
the
that's kind of it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all we kind of had.
Okay, do you
Oh, we were gonna talk about the show that we're watching, Running Point, with Kate Hudson.
Oh. It's good. Watch it.
Michelle likes it. By the way, the opening to Righteous Gemstones.
It's Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, sorry, but it's
Righteous Gemstone season 4.
Yeah, it's such a good opening, and Bradley Cooper kills it.
Yeah, it was good.
It's fucking cool.
If you haven't seen Righteous Gemstones, it's a really funny show.
It is. I recommend it. What else are we watching? We're watching. What's the White Lotus?
White Lotus.
Come on, that episode with Sam Rockwell and Walter Goggins when he's talking about the that was such okay. First off, it's such a it's not simple what they're talking about, but the way that they did it, it's such it's just he just said it.
Yeah. And
it was just so simplistic, but the material was so crazy, and I fucking love Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell. This is a question people always ask me. They always ask me oh, who's your favorite actor, or who? And I always say Chris Farley, but Sam Rockwell is somebody that I really love all of his work and his whole career, because he's kind of a character actor, I think.
Yeah.
But he's funny, but he can do really good dramatic work. He's very versatile, is probably a better term for it. It's like, I want a career like that.
No, but that scene was crazy.
Yeah, it was. What was the moment when he said he's like, I
realized I wanted to be that Asian girl. Yeah. It's like, what? And then he's like, I wanted to be that Asian girl fucking me.
But he said he was like, and he's like, then there was a moment. He's like, I'm looking at that Asian girl in the eyes while I'm getting railed, getting pounded from behind. And he was like, and I was that Asian girl. And Walter Goggins is like,
he's like,
he literally does this. He's like, huh. Like takes a sip of his drink, like just mind is blown with what's happening. But it was
a good dialogue.
I love both those guys. I love both those actors. They're so good. Sam Rockwell is amazing. I want to be an actor like that. I want to be versatile. I want to do a part and people don't recognize me, or they're just like, that's the guy from that thing. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And so far, I think with like doing Wait With Me, and then when people see Black Dagger Brotherhood, they're going to be like, that guy is the same guy as that? I hope that happens.
Yeah. I feel like that's going to happen. They're going to watch like your more romantic movies, and then they're going to watch Black Dagger Brotherhood and going to be like, wait, that's the same guy?
Yeah. I hope. But yeah, I don't know. Do you anything else you want to talk about? I feel like there was something. I shot that Western thing.
You did. You want to talk about that? You want to mention something about it?
I had a lot of fun.
You want to tell what it was?
Well, it's kind of more of like a spec project. It's just the Ian Dumas, the director, and like he came up with the concept. He works at Panavision, and he got a bunch of like really nice lenses to shoot with like the ARRI camera, I think it was, and he we went out in Malibu and we kind of shot this thing and tried to tell this story, and it was kind of very like guerrilla warfare type filming. Like we just went out and did stuff. No one had permits, all illegally shooting on locations, and it was fun. I was able to kind of just like put a lot of my own. Is that
actually a thing? Like if you went to a public beach,
I mean, we're not shooting
you weren't filming any other person in the background or anything, but you were just shooting yourself. Would that be counted as illegal shooting?
Yeah, because like for instance, like American Boogie Woman, when we shot that campfire scene, they had to rent out a chunk of that beach in Santa Monica. I think it was Santa Monica, maybe it was closer up to Malibu, I can't remember, but they had to rent out a chunk of that for a couple hour period. I mean, multiple hours. It was like for half the day, and it's like $20,000 for that.
Yeah, just
for that. And you have to do that if it's like a professional shoot. Like if it's a SAG project, if you're shooting anywhere on location, you have to rent those locations. You have to get a locations permit.
Yeah. No, I get that. But it's just...
But for this is like, if we get stopped, we were just...
Because I don't think you need to do that in Sweden. Because we have allemansrätten.
Yeah, it's the land of the people or something, or the no man's land.
Kinda, yeah.
It's like you could camp in someone's backyard
for one day,
which is fucked up. I think a little bit. Like if someone can go into your backyard and camp,
but it's basically also just like, yeah, basically
someone can put a tent up in your front yard and camp.
Yeah, for 24 hours, and then you can evolve the.
That is such a weird thing. That's weird.
But it's the same with like you could film anything that's like public land. I mean, not even public land, but like forest. You can go out to people's forests and you can go pick mushrooms, or berries or whatever you want to do. You can walk over, but we have a lot of forests, so that's like most of the things that like people don't go and camp in other people's backyards. Like that's not a thing.
But you could.
You could, but nobody does it. That's just like...
'Cause that'd be weird.
That's just like common sense. You don't do that, But what it is basically is like more if like, oh, you went out camping and you stayed in the forest to camp, that someone owns that land.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do that.
And that would be like, oh, you can camp there because you have that right.
No man's land. What does it translate directly to?
Allemansrätten. All man's land.
Oh, all man's land. Yeah, you can't do that in the United States. You'll get shot. But
yeah.
What was the point of that?
You were filming this Western.
And Ian sent me some like little clips of what we were doing, and it looks beautiful. It's like, You know, when you watch movies from like the early, 80s, 90s, and 20s, and there was just like a look about it.
Yeah.
And then everything went digital, and then it started. Yeah. So this it looks like that. So it was a cool experience. It was fun. I got to play my harmonica a little bit.
Yeah. You got
just do some cowboy costumes. The costume was fucking legit.
They looked so good.
It was so cool. It was like everything was vintage and like it just I felt like a cowboy. And that's, oh my God, I want to play cowboy in like something,
a Western movie.
I want to do a spaghetti Western so bad. Bad. And I want to play a Jedi.
Ooh.
I want to play a Jedi and I want to play
That's
a
your
cowboy.
two like little check boxes.
Yeah, one day. I know Disney is doing all sorts of stuff with the Star Wars franchise, and there's like a little part of me that hurts my heart.
It a little bit.
Well, yeah, there's a little part of me on some of the stuff they've done. I don't necessarily love it, but I love Star Wars, and I just love that they're just making stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Because if it was gonna be only the 6 films that George Lucas did, that would be sad. As an actor, I would never get an opportunity to possibly be in a Star Wars production.
Yeah.
So, and like the Obi-Wan series was fucking awesome. The first season of Mandalorian was awesome.
Skeleton Crew was
great.
Yeah.
Jude Law
did amazing.
A great job. I was just sad a little bit about the end of his story arc because I was hoping he was going to turn out to be good.
Yeah, he did.
But I love that he was Force sensitive. I'm a big Force guy. I want to be.
He's one with Force.
I want to be a Jedi. I want to be Force sensitive as well.
What if you got casted to be in a new Star Wars adaptation, but they're like, you're gonna be Chewbacca.
I would do it.
And he's going.
I would do it. I don't care. But I would have a mask on, and so I could put. First of all, that's a good foot in the door.
Yeah.
I could be like, guys, listen, I know you hired me to play Chewbacca because I do a really good Chewbacca Wookiee yell. But that being said, since I'm here, I can also play a regular character.
I could also be a Jedi.
Yeah, I'm also, my lightsaber skills.
I'm good at multitasking. I work very well under stress.
I'm also Force sensitive.
My laser beam. What is it called? Laser sword. Laser.
It's a lightsaber, baby.
My lightsaber skills are very high, and yeah.
I want to be a Jedi. Maybe a Jedi cowboy. Just 2 birds, 1 stone.
A Jedi cowboy. Oh my God, a Star Wars.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
A Star Wars Western infused movie.
I mean, kind of like
they go to like a planet that's like stuck in the Western, but it's also like.
Well, no, but like if you look at like how Han Solo.
Yeah.
How like Han Solo's life, he was
farmer.
No, he was a smuggler.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He was kind of like an outlaw in space, you know?
Yeah.
And his sidekick was Chewbacca. So being a smuggler is kind of a little bit is like a space cowboy in a sense, you know? And I think with Jude Law being like he was like a pirate. He was like, they were like smuggler pirates. They would overtake ships and steal shit and get their booty, you know, but he was also force sensitive. So he was kind of like a Jedi cowboy in a sense.
He was more of a Jedi pirate, I feel.
Yeah, Jedi pirate, but
no, it would be cool for you to do like a Star Wars movie, and it would be cool for you to do like a Western. Like make it separate. Show the range, you know?
People don't understand that I can do a real good Southern accent.
Yeah.
And I really want to play a cowboy.
Someone commented on the video that I reposted of you for the video you just posted.
What'd they say?
And they said, Andrew's accent is so smooth and good in this clip. And I was like, yeah, I know.
Well, nobody gives me the chance or the opportunity, but I promise you one day I will blow your socks off. My sweet little baby girl.
That's sexy. That's sexy. That is very sexy. I am.
These are not the droids you're looking for. Hello there. That's Obi-Wan.
This is just Andrew's audition tape to be a Jedi.
Please let me be a Jedi.
If anybody sees this,
please
let Andrew be a Jedi. I'm not hearing.
Let's watch The Phantom Menace later.
We have a full schedule today.
Yeah, we do. What are we doing with Hannah?
I'm podcasting with her
today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! So you're going to Costco, then you're podcasting with her, and then what am I supposed to do?
You need to edit this video.
Okay, well I'm done now. Talking.
No, but it will be good. Well, I don't feel like we have anything else. Anything you looking forward for the rest of this week besides your sister?
I'm looking forward to Disneyland this weekend, hanging out with Leah, showing her LA.
Yeah.
I hope she has money because she's an expensive girl, and I don't know what. I feel like we're gonna take her to what's the street?
Rodeo Drive.
Rodeo Drive, and she's gonna be like, "Can I get this?" It's like, "Oh, a $3,000 purse?" No.
I want to get a $3,000 purse.
That's crazy.
I know it is crazy because then I'm also like, I heard this podcast the other day and they were talking about like, why would I spend $3,000 on a purse when I could spend those $3,000 like going on a trip or doing something more like fun for that money? And I was like,
spend $3,000 on a purse that you're not going to be able to put any money in because you spent all your money on a $3,000 purse. You just have an empty purse.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
No, but I like most of my designer purses are thrifted.
Yeah, which is cool that you can do that, or that you have the eye for it.
Yeah,
know?
But I found I have a lot of Coach. I really like Coach. Coach is like coming up again.
I like Carhartt and Dickies. Those are my designer.
Yeah, I see those as designers as well.
They are. They're good quality.
They are good quality
shit.
And I feel like that's something that's coming more and more into trends again. Which
what's my style?
You're a fisherman.
Fisherman chic.
Fisherman aesthetic.
Fisherman chic. That's what I am. I'm
fisherman's chic. But no, I feel like it's getting more and more trendy to like go for good quality stuff. And like, did you hear that?
That's crazy that has to be a trend.
I know, but did you hear like Forever 21 is closing down?
Good.
They're shutting down all of their U.S.
Isn't that
stores.
good because their shit sucks?
Yes. Their stuff is just not good, long-lasting quality.
I love you. Go.
But it's also like contradicting me to say that because I used to work for them making stuff.
Oh yeah. Your dresses and stuff used to be in there.
But they were still like the stuff wasn't like it's not long-lasting stuff that you can like.
It's the same with H&M. It's like you wash the shirt and it literally dissolves and shrinks and like it's a different shirt when you take it out of the washer one time.
Yeah.
That's like I remember when I first started when I started traveling to Milan when I was in Milan too, I started buying like nicer outfits, trying to be trendy because I was like, okay, I'm going on these castings all the time. I should try to like dress sophisticated and nice. So I'd go to H&M and I would buy
from H&M.
I'd buy slacks and button ups and then and try to look fancy, and then I would wash the clothes once and they'd be destroyed and I'd be like, what the fuck? So then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Zara because I'm up in my game, and which you could wash.
Zara is a little bit better than H&M. Lucy, you need to calm down.
You could wash the stuff from Zara like 3 times.
Yeah, so it's a little bit better.
But no, I've gotten some nice. I've gotten some nice jeans from Zara.
Yeah,
I have jeans that actually surprisingly last a long time. Like I have a pair of black jeans that are my favorite from Zara.
How's it going for you over there?
It's going good. And then that brown jacket I got, I've never washed it because it will dissolve. But
it's also a suede jacket.
It's not suede. It's like that weird like army blanket material.
Oh yeah.
And I fucking love that jacket.
I feel like you don't need to wash it.
I love that jacket so much.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell bad too, which is weird. I think it's because it's really airy and I air it out.
Yeah.
What was that? You want to go outside? You want to go play? Yeah? You want to go play? Hold on, stop doing that. You want to go play? You want to? What?
She's like taking it to my.
Ooh. What? Oh, you want the food? You've had 2 breakfasts today. You aren't gonna eat Ellie's food. She's like looks at me and then looks at Ellie's food, and I'm like, no, you're not gonna get that. No.
She's like, but what if I sit down? What if I'm a good girl and I sit down?
These people are so confused that are watching. They're just like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry guys.
We're supposed to round it off.
Are we? Are we done?
I think so.
Okay, this was good. It's like, it's not even 2 hours. We've only been talking for 1 hour and 44 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have anything else you want to mention?
What else is going on? What's going on?
No, I realized that what I was gonna say is, a friend from school, from college here in LA, she
Lucy.
She works for Coach. She like designs their bags, and I was like, that is so cool.
How old is she?
She is, I would say, like maybe 24, 25.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's dope.
But I see like on her story all the time, and I'm just like, that is so cool that you're working with them. And like, she was just talking about how she had to do like she had to do a 3D design of the new bag that she designed.
On a program and stuff?
No, like she was making out of paper. And I was like, that's honestly such a cool job. And I was like, I'm kind of jealous.
Have you ever designed a purse?
I haven't, but I was really into designing shoes before, and that's a whole other, like, you could go into like designing footwear, like that was a whole other major.
Yeah, well,
but I was like,
it seems very different than clothes.
Yeah, because you're using completely different materials and everything. Yeah. But I was like, it would be such a cool skill for me to learn how to make purses and how to make shoes. Yeah, because I was like, that, like making those two accessories would be so cool to like.
What are
honestly have for a future? Like look at all these, like look at Prada, look at Gucci, look at Dolce & Gabbana, look at Coach. Like they all sell clothes, but they also sell the accessories. And I was like, that would be so cool to have that whole whole
I mean,
range
I'm sure.
of,
I mean, once you get like once you start your brand, like you have so many ways you can expand and like it's just about getting that solid foundation though, and like earning the trust of your customers, you know, like making good quality stuff, and you're using like it's very eco-friendly, and you're recycling, and it's very good for the earth. Once you get that down, it's like you could go so many different avenues, you know?
No, I'm so excited, and I'm following like all these people. Like I'm following Hanna Stjernberg, which is a Swedish girl. She was like a fashion influencer. Now she has her own brand called Araki. And like she's posting about like doing the newest campaign for that brand. I'm just like, I
want to be doing that.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't wait to be at that point when I'm just like launching a new campaign, going to a location. Lucy, stop. Like going to a location, like she had like 29 people hired just to do this one shoot.
That's pretty cool.
Like with people like working. She's like, I'm at this dream location that I want to be shooting for the past like 2 years. And she's like, I finally got able to book it. And like, I have this whole crew, and I'm just like, that looks like that is my dream. Like looking at what she's going through right now with her brand. I think she started her brand in 2022. And so far it's been like a huge success. Yeah. And like granted, she comes from having like 1 million followers on Instagram, just her personal account. So like she already had a big follower base to start off with, but it just like looking at that, I'm like, okay, I know that this is what I want to do, because when I see that, it gets me so excited. Yeah. And just being like, wow, I want to be doing that as well. Like I want to be, you know, a creative director for these shoots. I want to be designing my own collections. I want to be going like looking for trims and vendors and just scouting for new materials and silhouettes and everything. And I'm just like, and
like again, like that's gonna happen, you know. It's just it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But also what's cool about that is like I know the perspective of what because like I'm not like, when I'm on sets doing stuff like this, I'm not like the model that's sitting there just being like thinking about other shit. Like I'm watching everybody and seeing what everyone's job is. Yeah. And I'm not, this isn't everybody, but these bigger shoots, there's so many people with different little positions that I realize that I'm like, you don't need that many people to do these things.
No.
It's like if you just have a couple good people, they can fill most of these little positions.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like when I see it from that lens, I'm like, when you get to this level, I'm gonna be able to help you so much with like the groundwork of things.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to save you money because there's like just a lot of things that I can do on my end, which so I'm excited for that. It's going to give you more freedom, a bigger budget for location and
well, I mean, I just know like working for the brand that I work for now, I've been to 2 shoots with them. I've been through 2 shoots with them.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've been doing like behind the scenes shots. I've been doing like I've been dressing them, styling them for the shoots, but like for those shoots, we have the location. We have a photographer and a photographer assistant usually. Which is just like that's through the photographer is like I need an assistant for this shoot basically. So we have to hire both. And then we have one makeup stylist and one hairstylist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Yeah, and I'm like, you don't need a ton of people to get good photos.
Yeah.
You just need to have a good, clear concept of what you want to do, a good location.
Yeah.
You have to have everything prepped so everything like looks good for shooting.
Yeah. That's one of the.
You need a model.
That one of the biggest issues that I see on these bigger shoots is that they don't have the client isn't exactly sure of what they want exactly. Yeah. So then you have a really good photographer that is kind of aimlessly doing stuff and then always looking back at the client if they're going in the direction they want, and the client's like and they're unsure. Yeah. And it's like
that's kind of what's been happening with our shoot. So I have been the one that's been like talking to the photographer, being like, okay, maybe let's go over here, let's do shoot over there. Like,
and that's the other issue is like if there's not anybody making
creative decisions.
Well, just a decision.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that happen. Like as a model, like models are supposed to just shut up and stand there. But like I've been on sets where it's like the photographer doesn't like if you hire a really good photographer, they typically just have their own good instinct on what to do, you know? And they're focused like, okay, well, this is the model. This is the product. I know what to do. The client's not giving me any feedback, so I'm going to do what I do best. Yeah. And that's a good photographer. But then I've been on sets where it's like the client doesn't know what they want. The photographer doesn't know what the client wants and is too preoccupied with trying to figure out what the client wants. And then I'm standing there and I'm like, I'll be like, let's just do this. And I start doing stuff. And then I'm like, just shoot.
Yeah.
And then the client's like, oh yeah, well, I like that one. And then it's like, but it's like, I also have like a director mindset. Like I hate when people don't make decisions.
Yeah.
It's like we are wasting time. Let's fucking go. I'm getting paid regardless, but I also want you guys to be happy with what you're hiring me for. Well, that's one thing too.
I feel like it's so important to like scout the location before everybody gets there to like know what you want to do, what you want to shoot. Like I know this last photo shoot we did for the company that I work for, like I went through all of the dresses that we were going to shoot beforehand.
Yeah.
And we had 3 models. So I separated all the dresses to how we're going to shoot them. For which model is wearing what. Like we named everything. We put little notes on every dress to make sure that we had everything done. And then
Lucy, stop.
Luckily I had already been there at that location the year before. So I knew what the location looked like. And like we could kind of like get kind of a mindset of what we want to shoot, where we want to shoot and everything. But like I remember when we shot the bikini line, for example, that was a new location. So I was like first there on the spot. That was like 1 hour before the models was going to show up. And I was just walking around like looking at where can we shoot. And I was talking to the photographer because that was a friend of mine's boyfriend. And he was also like showing up early. And we were just talking together, like trying to figure out, and also you have to figure out like where's the sun gonna be? Do we want to shoot in direct sunlight? Do we want to shoot in the shadow? Do we want to shoot like all of those like? And I really enjoy making those creative decisions. I think that's a fun part of the shoot.
Yeah. On any production, that is probably one of the most important things is someone that will just when you, as soon as you have multiple people just trying to decide on something and nobody can make a decision, it now becomes like you're just wasting valuable time. You need someone to be like, we're going this way, let's go, and just we'll figure the rest out as we get there. But we have to do something, it's like. But that's why pre-production is so important on a lot of this stuff, is like location scouting, having like what.
Also, like figure out, are we gonna have any like?
I need to pee super bad.
Do you want?
Maybe she needs to pee too. Do you want to? You want to keep talking?
No, I'm fine to round it out.
You want to? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to cut you off. I'm like gonna piss my pants.
He's gonna piss his pants.
I'm gonna pee my pants. I'm gonna pee my pants.
Okay, guys. Thank you for watching this
Thank you guys so much. We hope you have a beautiful week and weekend, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.